The rap industry has no doubt been plagued with death as many rappers have lost their lives in the past few years. The craziest aspect of this is that these rappers have been unjustly killed at the hands of men whom they didn't even offend, with one rapper killed over a dice game that he didn't even play, another killed over cookies he was buying for his mother, and another rapper getting gunned down while he was just trying to eat some fried chicken. Keep watching till the end of this video to see men who really killed rappers. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Suspect in Takeoff's murder. It was Halloween night of 2022 when tragedy struck for members of the Migos as Takeoff was shot and killed at a bowling alley in Houston. Takeoff, alongside his uncle and fellow Migos rapper Quavo, had traveled to Houston for a birthday party. It was a private Halloween party that had members of Jay Prince's Mob Ties family in attendance. According to reports, Quavo and Takeoff had checked in before going to the party, but that didn't stop things from hitting the fan on that day. While the party was going on, Quavo decided to play a game of dice with some of the guys at the party. But the rapper wasn't winning and he didn't seem to take it lightly. In a video shared on social media, Quavo was seen arguing with a bunch of people, while Takeoff stood by and watched while they argued. The fight, however, escalated, and Quavo, who seemed to be upset over the argument, decided he didn't want to argue anymore because he didn't want to hurt somebody over the argument. In the viral video, he was heard saying, "Let's go, I ain't doing like this before I hurt somebody, bro." But just a few seconds after he turned his back to walk away, someone fired a gun, and in no time, there was a shootout at the party. Sadly, by the time it was all over, Takeoff had been shot. Seeing his nephew lying in his pool of blood, Quavo screamed and tried to get people to help. A nurse who acted as a first responder on the scene revealed in an interview that when she first heard Quavo's screams from outside the building, she had assumed that Quavo was the one who got shot, and she had to go and help. "I was scared, but I had to go. I could not have lived with myself if I knew I had the equipment to save his life and I didn't," she explained to local news outlets. According to the nurse, when she got inside the building, she found Takeoff critically injured and too late to save him. But she couldn't possibly be the one to pronounce him dead on the scene. About a month after the incident, the man who was really responsible for the death of Takeoff was arrested. On December 1st, 2022, Patrick Xavier Clark was arrested in Houston after he carried out multiple suspicious actions that forced the authorities to take him into custody. Being a mere person of interest who had apparently fired a weapon on the day Takeoff died, Clark called attention to himself after he tried to flee the United States to Mexico with an expedited passport, as well as a huge amount of cash on him. All of these alongside his fingerprint being found on the cup of the man seen in surveillance firing the gun at Takeoff, the authorities were fully convinced that Clark was indeed Takeoff's killer. His bond was set at $2 million. Unfortunately for him, he couldn't pay the fee. In fact, he claimed that his family had used up all of their money to get him an attorney. So he pleaded that the bond be reduced. It was reduced to $4 million, which was still difficult for him to pay. Luckily for him, an anonymous person who his attorney refused to reveal to the public paid the $1 million bond in full. Patrick Clark has been released from prison and is pending for trial. However, before his trial, the court has ordered him to stay away from the following people: Takeoff's family, Jay Prince Jr., and his family, as well as Shakur Stevenson, who was hanging out with Quavo and Takeoff on that fateful night, and anyone from Shakur's place of employment. PNB Rock's alleged killer. On September 12th, 2022, rapper PNB Rock had gone to Roscoe's House of Chicken and Waffles restaurant in South Los Angeles with the mother of his child when a botched robbery occurred. Two robbers pulled into the restaurant and approached the rapper where he was seated with his girlfriend. About 20 minutes after they arrived, according to witnesses at the scene, the vehicle the gunman came out of was already in the parking lot of the restaurant, some minutes before the couple arrived at the restaurant. The gunman walked straight to PNB Rock and his girlfriend and asked the rapper to take off his icy watch and chain. After he gave it to the rappers, they opened fire and shot him in the chest and fled the scene. 3 weeks after the incident, the Los Angeles Police Department released some information about the suspects who really killed PNB Rock. They described the suspect by saying, Freddie Lee Trone has been identified as being a person involved in the murder of Rakim Allen. He should be considered armed and dangerous. If you see him, you are urged to call 911 for immediate assistance. The authorities also revealed that a 17-year-old boy who was identified as the son of Freddie Lee Trone and who robbed the store with him had already been arrested. They, however, withheld the name of the boy because he was still a minor. According to insiders, the son was the shooter who had taken PNB Rock's life, while his father, Freddie, drove the getaway car. They did, however, burn the getaway vehicle after abandoning it. Young Dolph murder suspect. It was around 1 p.m. on Wednesday, November 17, 2021, when young Dolph was getting cookies at Makita's Butter Cookies in Memphis. 2 gunmen drove up to the side of the store and opened fire. Unfortunately, the rapper, who has been shot multiple times at this point, didn't survive the shooting during this incident. According to an eyewitness, the Memphis rapper had come into the city to celebrate Thanksgiving with his family and give out Thanksgiving turkey to the homeless. Just a few days before the tragic shooting, he had appeared on the official Instagram page of the bakery, giving out a free ad for people patronizing the business. This was confirmed by a lady heard in the background of the video.
Get the side. Come back around there.
Sadly, young Dolph was killed a few days later in that very same place. Young Dolph's death was felt throughout Memphis. It was so tragic that the Memphis police chief, Serlin C.J. Davis, had to speak on it. Addressing the tragic situation, the chief said, "This shooting is another example of the senseless gun violence we are experiencing locally and nationwide. Our hearts go out to the Thornton family and all who are affected by this horrific act of violence." But that didn't stop the family, friends, and fans from seeking justice for the death of young Dolph. Thankfully, the men who were responsible for this tragedy were caught. On January 6, 2022, Memphis police identified Justin Johnson, also known as Memphis rapper Straight Drop, as one of the murderers responsible for young Dolph's death. A warrant was issued for his arrest, but he managed to escape, urging the U.S. Marshals, Memphis Police, and Tennessee Bureau of Investigation to offer a $15,000 reward to anyone with details on his exact location. After his arrest warrant was issued, Johnson did not only try to evade capture, but he also taunted the police. He took to his official Instagram page to post about offering himself up for arrest. "Turning myself in Monday at 2:01, I'm innocent. I'll be back sooner than you can blink," he wrote. On January 12, 2022, Johnson was traveling on a highway in Indiana when he was stopped and arrested outside of Terre Haute by authorities, according to U.S. Marshal Tyrese Miller. That's the end of today's video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe for more content. Thanks.